Well, I mean, it's like earlier, I ended up finding something at my thrift store. It was a game that I didn't even know was out,
Uh-huh.
and I got it for $1, but it sells for each piece of the game itself sells for about 20 to 40.
And where did you find it? At the thrift store and Goodwill? Where?
Yeah, so when I found it and I was like, "Hey, look what I got," and she's like, "Oh, that's awesome." So what I did was gave them a extra donation on top of it.
That's a good idea. I haven't done any of the Amazon for like 2, 3 months because we started school back up, and I haven't touched anything, and now I feel guilty. So now I'm avoiding it. It's like the procrastination. I listened to that in the last video, and that helped me because I think I set the expectation of myself like way too high. So I think that one box every 2 weeks. I think that's more realistic for me to shoot for. Hmm. Yeah, just gotta have a box open. I'll just set it up and then just throw it in gradually. Mhm.
Yeah, people make the mistake of setting their goals stupidly high. And the first time they don't meet them, they may meet them a couple times, but maintaining that pace, and if it's a high grind pace, you'll slowly start to mess up. And the more you mess up, the easier it is to get defeated, and then you're not
Uh-huh.
seeing again. So it's
That's
better
me.
to set low and then just gradually build. So taking it slow.
That's me to a T. I set it too high, and then I feel like I failed, and then I just quit completely.
Good. Might have been good. How's everybody else's sales?
I mean, I talked about it a little bit before we started. Mine's have been decent. I've had a day where I did 350, and then the next day I did like 150. But that's just the reality of selling on Amazon. Honestly, at the end of the day, I did.
Can y'all hear me?
What was that,
I've
Eddie?
gotten less, but
I
they're
was
worth
just
more.
making sure y'all can hear me. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I did sell a book on eBay this week. I know that's a miracle. I know. Everybody, calm down. Everybody, calm down. I'm selling stuff on eBay. $25 book. Uh, I mean, I haven't listed on eBay probably in 3 weeks now. Sold a hospital bed. What? Like, you can't just comment that and not actually come in and explain, first off, where you found the hospital
How do
bed.
you hack that? You got like a wardrobe box over there?
Free pickup, $200 local pickup. If I brought like a hospital bed home, like Deb would be like, no.
She'd punch you in the face and you need that hospital bed.
um, Johnny,
Hmm.
your thoughts on free shipping or paying for shipping on eBay?
Either works. If you do free shipping, you can bake in your shipping costs technically into the sales price. Um, the nice thing about charging for shipping, if you're going to do it, I would charge more than the mailing label. So it accounts for margin of error, as well as when you're sending in or accepting offers, you can go a little bit deeper than you could if you just had it baked in the. It's a little harder, I think, if you have it baked in the price. I've done it both ways. The benefits of free shipping, though, is that is a box on the left-hand navigation on eBay, so you're going to pick up that customer set who clicks that box every time. So it could, in theory, increase your sell-through rate, how fast you sell an item, because you have access to more customer sets. However, you may be giving up a little bit more money, in my opinion. I currently use the paid shipping label model, and I charge more than the label, as I just recommended.
Eddie, you charge for shipping?
No, I do free shipping.
Okay, I'm the same way. I was just curious what we have going on out there in the shipping world.
I used to, man, but it started getting. I just didn't want to deal with it, so I just bake it all in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can go both ways, honestly. I think a lot of it comes down to kind of like what you're selling too. Like if you're selling big, bulky
Yeah,
items, then
yeah,
maybe. But for the smaller stuff, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
yeah. If I had bigger stuff, or if I sold like small appliances, I probably would charge only because if they returned it. I don't want to pay that return shipping.
Yeah. On the topic of big appliances, we bought a countertop dishwasher off Amazon about 2 weeks ago, and plugged it in, and it was broken out of the box and it flooded the kitchen. I took it back to UPS, and the lady's like, your box is leaking, sir." I'm like, "Listen,"
Gross.
I shook it out as best as I could. Uh, I was pretty heated because I'm on the third floor, so I had to carry this big old 100-pound portable dishwasher, thinking it was going to change my life, and it wound up doing the exact opposite. We didn't buy another one. We kind of just were like, all right, well, that's a sign that. But I mean, Amazon free returns, right? You think about it, like, what are you going to do, if you're selling something like that? It's like, it's hard to kind of grapple with, looking at other items and selling other items besides media if you really don't have the margin for returns, like it sucks. I mean, it was broken out of the box, right? So there's nothing I can do. But I mean, think about that from a seller's perspective. Imagine the fees on something like that. And then if Amazon decides they need to have it, it's damaged and they're going to send it back because the box is wet when they get it back. I think it's a whole can of worms that I think a lot of people don't think about when they do other categories, right? If you go into selling other items and you understand that, hey, okay, well, this is how it's going to be. We're going to, I'm going to factor in that there's going to be a 10% return rate, and I'm
yeah,
fine if 10% of items get
yeah.
returned. But the problem is people don't think about returns, and then they get one, and it's like, oh my God, like Amazon, this is the end of the world for Amazon. Well, I don't think that's the case. I think you have to understand the platform you're selling on. We'll all sit here all day long. Every one of us will admit that the returns on Amazon, it's the highest than any other platform. It's not even close. But if you accept that going into it, then you really don't care about it. You're like, whatever, it's just another return.
I had this return, man. So I got the email. You know, the email that Amazon send refund initiated, right? So I looked at it. So I had these like oils, man. It's hard to get, and every once in a while I get them from this guy, and then I'm always the only person on the listing, right? So this return, a person ordered 10 of them. I had about 90 in stock. They ordered 10. So then it said address not deliverable, some crazy stuff. I go look, I take the order number and do some research. So this person made 3 other purchases before, all higher quantities, like 6 or more, right? Every other time it was delivered. So now all of a sudden they saying that they didn't get the items. So Amazon just in the tracking shows delivered. So Amazon, I put in it ain't a safety claim, it's the other one. They're like, oh well, you gotta wait 90 days just to make sure it get 90 days. This is y'all just this person ordered 3 other times. It was delivered to the address. Now they saying they didn't get it. You gave them $100 something back. And I gotta wait 90 days to see if it actually comes back. Like, yeah, that's the type of stuff that pisses me off. So I kind of just don't even like to think about it. And I wrote that one down because I'm gonna follow up with them about that. But most of the time, man, I don't even like to look because it ain't even worth it. Wow. Amazon told her that?
Hey, make sure you're using Refunds Manager.
Oh, for sure. Refunds Manager is like, I think I'm up to like $150 for money that Amazon tried to steal from me. I think it's one of those things where you just have to kind of, you got to have some kind of service, right? Because there's no way we can really go in and track these different items that are lost or missed. So, and they automatically do it. So I highly recommend using.
What's the refunds manager? I don't think I heard of that.
It's basically a program. They'll run cases on your behalf, right, on Amazon. So, like, if an item gets lost at a warehouse, um, and they take a percentage of what they make. So you don't pay anything for this, right? It's not like an upfront subscription fee. They'll run reports once a month. You'll get an email. You can go in and look at your reports, and they'll say, "Hey, we found $50 we got back from you from Amazon." They take their cut, you get your cut, basically. So it's basically free to do. And like I said, it's made me $150 extra this year just from signing up for it.
Oh shit, I gotta do it. Is it refunds go.refundsmanager.com?
Yes, I'm pretty
That
sure
sound
that's
right?
it. Yep.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, it does it
Hell
all
yeah.
automatically. Once you set it up once, they'll just keep running it every single month, and it kind of just, puts a little bit extra.
Yeah, I feel like Amazon owe me a lot of money, man, because I ignored a lot of refund emails.
Dude, you'll be surprised the first few times they run that thing. You're gonna be getting a little bit extra. You'll be getting those emails that your payment is on the way, and it'll be like $10, $20 here and there. So it's a good thing to have. And I think about it, right? Like, how many people sell on Amazon and don't use that service? Like, how much money does Amazon actually rip off their sellers in that essence? Like, it's millions and millions and millions of
Gotta be
dollars.
millions, and they doing it on purpose too.
Oh yeah, I mean, I see. I mean, I've been lucky. I've been fortunate enough. I've never had a lost box or like a box where the items, where they said they only received 5 items and there was 100 items in the box. I've been
Yeah.
lucky enough to not experience that. Like the 5+ years I've been selling on Amazon, but some people, run into this all the time, and I'm just like, there's really nothing you can do, right? Especially if you're thrifting the stuff. They're not going to take your Goodwill receipts. You're unfortunately you're screwed. You're out of luck.
They definitely ain't. No, I don't like to send in too many boxes at once just for that reason. I never had the problem, so I'll send in like 4, maybe 5 at the most. If I got any more, I'll kind of break them up just so I'm like less chances for things to go other places.
Yeah, that would be my luck. I'll send in my first pallet, and my pallet just goes missing off the back of the truck, and that's it for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. And Amazon's gonna blame them. They gonna blame Amazon, and you kind of stuck holding the bag.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I think you gotta pick and choose your battles with your platforms, honestly. And we all know everything's different. Every platform's completely different, and Amazon has its perks. Things sell fast; they usually sell higher than eBay. But eBay, you have, I would argue, more control over that single item you're selling. Right? You're listing it, you're storing it, you're packing it. That's another thing, right? You can't control how Amazon packs your stuff, and they're getting cheap now, right? You can opt into these programs where they'll mail you your stuff in just a poly bag, right? A clear poly bag, right? Like Amazon, they don't care about the items because it's not their items.
Well, what's crazy about that too is that they don't care. They'll ship it anyway. And then if you get a lot of either returns or complaints about damaged items, it goes on that score against your what is the NX score, whatever that score is.
Yep.
So then it's like if you get too many of those, they start sending you the nasty emails. But dude, you the one that's shipping this stuff.
Yep.
So how is it my fault?
Hey, it's you decided to sign up with Jeff, and these are the repercussions. All right. What else we got going on here? We got a few people over in the YouTube chat. Lachey, as always. Shot down, as always. Hanging out. Locked and losses. Also, Johnny, what's going on with eBay this week? Anything exciting?
We're listening to a bunch of Japanese wrestling magazines. Probably about halfway through that. For the whole collection we took in. And we'll be moving on to probably some more antiquarian books after we're done with that next month. As far as eBay goes, sales been pretty good this week, honestly. I did about $400 to $500 yesterday, which is cool. And did get the buy box last week. That was exciting on Amazon. So enjoying the money that's bringing in. Let's see. That's all I got really going on the eBay price. We're status quo going through the queue line essentially. We are going through our queue line and checking out for Amazon, just triple checking to make sure there's not anything that we missed, because we do have a 6-month queue line and just sometimes things pop up. Our pretty much rule of thumb these days is if it can go to Amazon, we'll go to Amazon, and then the rest is just left to eBay, the brick and mortar.
I think a lot of it with eBay is it it's tough with eBay when it comes to getting consistent sales. Like I would argue that getting consistent sales on eBay is harder than getting consistent sales on Amazon, just because of the it's a slower sell through than Amazon. And I mean, I guess it really depends how you play, right? Because if you're going to promote higher than everybody, your eBay stuff's going to sell. You're going to get eyes on it. I do think about that though, right? I got a hypothetical situation that just came to mind, right? So we all know Amazon basically is a 50-50 split with media. So you take 50%, Amazon gets 50%. What would that look like in an eBay business? Like, what's the overall take eBay does with fees nowadays? I have no idea. What is it, like 20?
If you're doing just the books, they're taking 14.99% just as a category fee. Um, if you add a promoted listing, there's another percentage. Let's assume you're top rated plus. So you're saving a little bit, 10% on fees, so now you're looking at close to 5% on your fees plus whatever promoted you're doing. I run anywhere between 10 and 20% of my promoted. So depending on that, eBay's taken on the lower end, they're taking about 30% after you're including the mailing label and all that.
So
Because eBay does take a percentage if you're charging for shipping too these days. It used to be that you didn't, but now they do.
could you argue that if you accepted a 50-50 split with an eBay business, right? So we're looking at 20% promoted basically on top of the 30%, right? So if you
Could be, yeah.
so if you promote everything at 20% on eBay and you accept your fate as a 50-50 split like you do with Amazon, like I think you would get lots of results on eBay promoting at 20%, because I don't think anybody is gonna play that game. Like there might be some people, but I don't think we're all playing that game. Like if you tell somebody to promote all your eBay stuff at 20% promoted listings, they're gonna tell you you're nuts. Like people hate people. I think I realized that resellers don't like promoted listings on eBay. I think it's like one of those things where it's just like, oh, I gotta pay extra, but I think that's a bad way to look at it. I think that's like you leverage that as an advantage point in your business if you have the margin, right, to get your items seen. So if you just accept a 50-50 split and you promote at 20%, I think your eBay store would just take off regardless of what you're selling, because you're going to get more eyes on your stuff.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, it really depends on. I wouldn't do it like $5 items if your store's just full of that. If you have higher end items, you can go deeper on the promoted because you have more take home money, of course. Now, I mean, percentages are percentages. Whether you're taking in 30% of $5 or 30% of $50 is a big difference there. Um, Now, the thing about the eyes is what I still don't understand with the algorithm is there's an adjustment time, even if you were to ratchet it up to 20%. But even after that adjustment time, who's to say it's not going to Barbara the librarian versus Billy the dyslexic who doesn't like to read books? We don't know this information of who's being shown through the promoted listing. In theory, yes, it should work. More eyes equals more sales. But sometimes it's not necessarily the case, at least with my experiments with it. Sometimes, yes, it works great. And then sometimes it's like, why isn't this working, eBay? I'm giving you the same amount percentage I was last month. And why aren't my sales as good this month? Question mark. No matter if the promoted listings stay the same or adjusted. Now, also, when you adjust promoted for the first time, you will notice an initial spike for about 3 to 5 days. And again, that's the algorithm calibrating your adjustments on your end. And the bad thing that eBay does that I don't like personally, I don't think anybody likes it, if you decide to dial it back, eBay kind of suppresses you a little bit because eBay doesn't like you touching their money. Because you're now saying, no, eBay, you can't have as much as I was giving you before. But it will adjust back up, and your traffic will stabilize to what it should be. It just takes some time, and you'll have to endure the punishment stick if you decide to go back down.
That makes sense. We got Romer and Josh over here, fellow YouTube gentlemen. What's going on, everybody? Sally, hey, what's going on, Sally? You should be in here. I don't see you in here, Sally. As a member, you should be attending all of these. I'm going to make note. You're going to be on the naughty list from Santa this year. Not really. Do the six squares with no photo talk or just listening. Uh, those are people that are just here kind of listening. Listen, I don't make people have their camera on, right? Listen, I know I'm the ugliest one here, but I don't force people to be, showing their face and being a part of it. But they can talk. You will hear them time to time, like Nick down here selling hospital beds that he got for free. Hopefully, it was in new condition. It's all stained up. I'm curious here. Uh, I promote all my listings. Eddie, do you promote?
Yeah, I promote everything.
All right. Sigil, when you were deep into eBay, were you promoting?
Absolutely. I just went through this past week and raised all my active items promotion a little higher, trying to move some stuff before I get back into it for the FBA hibernation months.
I scanned like 3,000 CDs today at one thrift store. I did notice something, and I'm curious since you kind of are heavy into the CDs or were heavy into the CDs. There's a lot of no FBA, a lot of no used FBA CDs out there.
There is, and I've been dabbling with that idea of putting a lot of hooks in the water since the storage fees are so low. I don't really know any items that get much smaller and compact than a CD for the amount of profit they can bring in. So I'm sending in a lot of those things that have no offer, low rank, and surprisingly some of them sell. And it's okay if they don't sell right away because I'm okay eating the fees for a while. Even at the 6 to 12 month mark, it's not that bad. You can really justify it with a few sales and then just liquidate them.
Yeah, it was weird today. Like, honestly, I probably bought I bought more rejects according to Scoutly than accepts of CDs today just because of kind of the hack of buying the no used FBA offers. I think there's so much money in that stupid little idea of buying something where you can set the price. I will say
Yeah.
this. When you play this game, you are going to get these stupid pricing errors. I mean,
Mm.
I've never had more than I've had since I've been doing the only FBA offer in the game. It kind of, I guess Amazon doesn't like it, but listen,
Mm.
I'll play the penny game until it's gone. It'll go away eventually, but I have noticed that a lot of them wind up being pricing errors. So, I mean, it is what it is, but when you get a CD, you're the only one. You sell it for $20. You're making $12, $13 every single time. It's like you're stupid not to, especially if you get the CDs for like 50 cents or a buck.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to approach it this way, but with the way that they changed the storage limits in FBA, it really opened my mind. I did the math and saw how many CDs and DVDs you could really fill up it with, and then even people in our group like Josh, he's expanded and gotten additional, and it's really not that expensive if you have a decent sell-through rate apparently. So I'm not limiting myself that way. I kind of want to stick to like the glory day vision of FBA of sending in a lot of stuff and it's still selling, especially if there's no competition. I mean, dude, I've been scanning thousands of items. I got through everything in my storage unit that's scannable this week. It's feels good, and a lot of those things I had to make the decision while I'm scanning it, and I set up pricing buckets so my employee is able to list them. And I've already set the price in my mind, so as I'm scanning, I'm setting the price and putting it in a designated pricing bucket for FBA, which I haven't seen a lot of people do. But since I've started doing that, it's been pretty good. Um, I even have a box for matching FBA buy box that I list all myself. If there's like not a clear price in the market and I need to do some deeper research, I see that when I'm scanning. I'm not going into my phone anymore and going into keep it charts. I'm saving that for the listing process at a computer.
That makes sense here. Duncan in YouTube chat says no promoted listings for me, and yesterday I had an $800 profit day. Duncan, I'd be curious to see like what you sell and like how much of it you have listed because that's a lot of profit in one day. You might be selling, iPhones or something. I mean, you're never going to lose on that. But I'd be curious about that. I think you can get away with no promoted listings. I just think if you're in a saturated category like media, like it's going to be tough with no promotions to get any ground or traction in media if you're not promoting your listings. What about Amazon ads? Is it worth it? Is it the same as eBay promotions? Amazon just wants your money for these ads. Like you can run like campaigns for like your products, or you could run like sales. If you go in and you price comp something when you're listing, and you'll see somebody has like a 20% sale, it's a waste of time, honestly. I don't. Your repricer is going to take care of it. You should always, basically be at the buy box or the lowest price. So the Amazon ads, not worth it. That's just Amazon wanting to get more money. I get those emails too. I wish I could unsubscribe from all Amazon emails besides your payment is on the way. That's the only one I want to see. Like, or if my account's going to blow up. But yeah, the Amazon ads are just a cash grab, honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah, the ads would only be for if you got your own listing and pretty much you're the only one on that listing. Other than that,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it if there's other people on the listing.
No, because you're gonna have to. I don't even think you could. I think you'd only just run a sale on your item, but your sale doesn't matter because if you're already the lowest price, then you're just
Right.
undercutting yourself basically at that point. But yeah, because you can't promote the product, you're not going to run an ad to promote, a Blink 182 CD. You're not going to run an ad to promote their CD, right? Because that's in essence what he's talking about, that you would be doing. But yeah, I don't mess around with none of the ad stuff. I do follow a few people on Twitter that have like their own private label stuff, like Eddie's talking about, and you have to run ads in that situation because
Yeah.
it's kind of just like promoted listings. Like you got to get seen. That's how it works. Everything's pay to win in this business, and that's why you have to keep a close eye on your margins from top to bottom because the more flexibility you have and being able to promote more, or, push your items more, then you're going to win. The majority of the time, that's just business. And I think a lot of us small people kind of, it's frustrating, right? When you're, if you're competing against a big seller or like when Amazon comes onto the listing and you're selling a new item, it's deflating, but you got to realize you don't got all your eggs in one basket anyway. So it's not like there's one listing, or it shouldn't be that way. One a handful of items shouldn't sink your whole reselling business. You shouldn't be relying on this sale of like a single book or DVD to like carry you over. Like, I don't know. What else we got going on? Tommy Boy, what's up?
You muted, Tommy.
I'm trying to do three things at once, and at my age, I can't do that anymore. I don't know, man. It's been a little slower for me.
Past week, the month so far?
Yeah, and I'm getting bombarded with the high pricing, so I'm dealing with that every day. But yeah, the weekend's coming up. The sales start tomorrow. Church sales. Been to state sales today. Not great, but plugging along.
There was a big sale in Ann Arbor. There's a few people talking about it in the Discord.
What kind of sale?
I think it was a book sale. I don't know. I seen people talking about, oh, you going to the Ann Arbor book sale? I said, damn, Tommy Boy might be out there, selling hot dogs or something, making some money.
No, I didn't hear about that one.
Anybody go to any book sales lately?
No. Still processing the libraries.
We know you don't leave your little warehouse there, all right, dude?
The books are already here. They just need to be touched. That's all that needs to happen.
You are the book sale. Anybody go to Johnny's book sale lately?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, how many listings, Johnny, do you have?
10,000 and change.
Jeez. 10,000.
That's what I say all the time. I mean, Johnny, what were you listing? Weren't you at like 60 something a day for a while when you were like?
Yeah, I did about 60 to 70 a day for about 2 months. It was a grind. I'm not gonna lie, it's a grind. We bounce between 20, 30, and 40 these days. Just depends what we have targeted for the month, what we want to pump out. Because some stuff we have seasonal, like we wanted to pump out a lot of our horror stuff, so we got that done in September. So when October hit, we were good to go. Made a lot of horror sales this month. Now with and the sports things as well. And then when Suzanne Summers died, we made sure we had all our Suzanne Summers products up and gone and out of here and listed. There is a thing for having a listing goal, I would say, but I found by experimenting going up and down with it, you don't need to be consistent as far as the set number, other than you need to list something, whether it's one item a day or 10 items a day or 30, 40, or even up to 70. It doesn't matter. You can always dial that back, take your foot off the gas per se, and decide when you want to put your foot back on the gas. I found that works best for me. Some months we grind really heavy. And some months we source more and dial back the listings, or like this month, we dial the listings back. We have easy listings with these wrestling magazines. I literally have to swap a couple things. Listings take me maybe an hour. The rest of our days spent processing Amazon or price comping stuff for eBay for next month.
I think like if you think about it, 10,000 listings, you're doing like what, 10 photos per listing?
Ha ha ha. No, like 14 to 20.
Dude, it's just a book.
I know.
Relax, dude. It's just a book. I mean, what are you taking a picture of every page?
I'm not doing it. My employee does it.
Oh yeah, that's like the worst thing you could say as a boss. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't. I just crap on the floor in the bathroom, and my employee.
I don't actually do any work. I just sit in this chair all day. You're right.
Oh my god, dude. I do think though, like, you don't have to always be like pedal to the metal. I think that's when you kind of get into the realm of like being burnout. You do have to be able to kind of step back and recharge your batteries from time to time. I'm guilty of this. I'll run myself into the ground until Deb's like, "Hey, you're not doing nothing today. Like, you're sitting around the house. You ain't going out," because you get the momentum, especially when sales are happening. All of a sudden, you're like, "Ooh, yeah, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be retired by the end of next year." And then, like, before you know it, and what happens here, you wind up getting sick, right? Because you're run down, your body's all beat up. You're out in these thrift stores dealing with all these crazy people. You get sick, then you wind up being sidelined for 2 weeks, 2 months, and then it's like, if you just would have took a break here and there, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in today. So I do think it is important to kind of cut back some. And Johnny is coming to the dark side, right? Like, I should have my Darth Vader helmet on. He wants to get more into Amazon because at the end of the day, Amazon is light work compared to Fleabay.
It's so much easier. It's ridiculous. eBay will always be a staple in my business because I don't believe in putting my eggs in one basket, because we all got that funsy email last year from Amazon, right? Where you can't sell books anymore. Booksellers aren't invited to the party anymore. It was a mistake, of course, but it was amusing, at least. We all got our slips for a day.
Josh wants to know, how many listings do you exactly have, Johnny? Because he's at 10,214, and he's been trying to catch you for a while.
I got more, I'll say that. Let's see here. I'll give you an exact number where we're at. 10,603. So I'm still winning.
Yeah, I'm at about 130 listings. So hey, you're beating me at least for what it's worth. My little tiny eBay store exists just to exist. Robert's 0, Tommy Boy's 0, all these hot shot. Josie's at what? Would you say 300 or 3,000?
38.
Oh, 38. I mean, you're beating Tommy and Rob. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, I guess.
Oh, I've been there for a year though.
I've been at mine basically for a year. It's a necessary evil. It works both ways.
I didn't know I had competition. I'm gonna have to crank up my listing goal.
Dude, what do you think goes on out there, right?
I don't know.
You got a target on your back. The second you decided to come on a podcast and talk about your eBay store, and you're like the Amazon guys that are like, I'm a 6-figure seller. I'm a 7-figure. Now you're like, I got 10,000 listings in my eBay store. Like, it means nothing. We don't care about your junky books you ain't selling.
Oh, sad. Poor books.
It is funny to think about that, like how different like all of our businesses are. Like it's crazy to me that we still try to spin things in certain ways. Like, you got to do it this way, when none of us are the same. We all sell different stuff. We sell it, even if we got the same item, we're going to sell it at a different price, possibly on a different platform. So it is cool to kind of look at it. Let's see what else we got going on here. Amazon sending me a postcard with a code to enter to verify my address. Yes, it's going around again. They kind of roll this out in waves. I was a part of the first wave, thankfully, so I kind of got it out of the way. But they are going around sending out re-verification, Informed Consumers Act. Thankfully, they're not doing it all at once. So it is going to be happening to some of you out there. It's no need for panic. It'll come in the mail, and you'll be good to go as long as you live at the address that is on your account. You don't live at the address, then good luck, Chuck.
Hey, and I don't know if any of y'all follow that one group, ASGTG. There's a lot of Amazon stuff in there, but they said that there was a lot of suspensions going on because of that, because people wasn't resubmitting. But so it says if they're allowing you to resubmit, then you can get back. So basically, fill out the information first, right, the first time, because you might get suspended. And if you get suspended, you may or may not get your account back. Just
Oh yeah,
so
for sure, for sure. That's a good call out because we know Amazon, they don't play no games. You ain't gonna be able to call and talk to somebody that has a brain. You're basically make sure your information's right now. If you haven't gotten it yet, go in and double check your information's right. Your phone number, your email, everything, your payment, all
yeah,
that stuff information
yeah.
needs to be right because if not, I mean, you just go look in the forums. You'll see everybody that lost their accounts. It's unfortunate. It's just the reality of it. Dan says Canada FBA capped at 100 units. Dan, are they doing? Is it by units in Canada still, or are they doing it by cubic feet? I'm curious. I don't have the answer to that, but I'm just curious what you're actually dealing with up there. Dan said 1,000 units. I said 100. Dan's capped at 1,000 units. Well, I don't know if they switched over to cubic feet in Canada. Does anybody know here?
They got cubic centimeters, right?
I don't know.
Was good. That was really good.
Listen.
Sorry, too easy.
I don't understand what's going on here. People are making fun of me now on my own live stream here, right? Security.
No, he was making fun of the metric system or lack thereof.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm not Canadian, and Luke's not here tonight. I miss Luke. Luke's a little firecracker here, a young guy, a little wisecrack that's usually on the calls.
He's not afraid to push back. That's why I like Luke.
We actually have a few people from Canada in the group. Like, I feel like they need to have like their own little Canadian powwow at some point. It's kind of like Texas. Like, there's a lot of people from Texas and like the Kentucky area. There ain't nobody up here by me. There's nobody. Nobody in Pennsylvania. I got John Side Hustle Experiment, but he does 08 now. So, I mean, he's 20 minutes from me. Flips from Miles used to, his hometown's right across the river as well. It's like it's weird how it works out, but I don't have any active like resellers in my area that I know of, like or even come across. Actually, there was one, but she didn't know me. I kind of went up and talked. I'm nosy when I see other scanners in thrift stores. I don't know how you all are, but like. I'd be like, yo, what's your trigger set? Like, hey, how you start?
Oh, you gotta take him out to dinner first, man. You gotta take him out to dinner.
No, dude, listen, I'm still waiting to be recognized out in public. And then when that happens, like, Deb will never hear the end of it, right? I'll be like, hey, I'm famous now. Somebody's seen me out at the buffet and they wanted an autograph. So, like, that'll be it for me. Customer service on Amazon, I think, all live in India, says shot down on the YouTube chat. It depends what time you call. It's like eBay, right? Johnny says you got to pick and choose what time you call into customer service. So you got to
go Team Ireland. They're the best.
The educational clocks, right? And you got to like see what time it is in your time and see where else it is in the other part of the universe. And then you can maybe I'll call at 3 a.m. and maybe you'll get somebody that's competent.
It's true, but it's like 5 a.m. You get Team Ireland. Ireland's probably the best customer service for eBay.
Jesse says, I'm in Canada. It's cubic feet. Okay, so we need more information from Dan then. If he still has a unit cap, that wouldn't make sense. Question, if you buy a Gaylord of books, what is the average price you are currently paying? Okay, so I don't buy Gaylords of books, but I understand the market. You should probably be paying between 2 and 8 cents per pound for Gaylords. When I was buying books off Craigslist, I was paying 15 cents, and that's like no bulk buyers of media of any type are going to pay 15 cents per pound. That's like ridiculous unless it's like all textbooks. So you should be paying basically between 2 and 8 cents per pound. More importantly, you should hopefully be paying for a warehouse or a space to kind of be able to process the stuff.
If I bought you a Gaylord, would you process it?
Yeah, that would make the most clickbaity YouTube video ever, right? I would bury
Johnny V buys like his first Gaylord.
Dude, I would put like all kinds of stuff in there, right? I put like a pile of cash, like a gold bar, like it would be the most staged Storage Wars type video.
Ain't that how Harry Tornado came up doing those Gaylords from the Goodwill?
Dude, I'm telling you, the possibilities are endless out there when it comes to that kind of stuff. Deb,
hey, for books, do y'all send books in? Do they increase your storage limits as you send more books or no?
As you get closer to your limit, it'll go up. Besides Q4, like if it's just any other time of the year, as you get closer, say, the space right now is 100 cubic feet. Once you get around 90, probably a few weeks, somewhere from 90 you'll get an increase. It won't be a crazy increase, but they'll bump you up when you max out.
Okay. Yeah, they do the same thing for others. So I just was wondering because I know you always talk about the limits. So I was wondering, like, do they put a cap on books just because books are so large, or what?
Now, I think the cubic feet play, like whoever decided to come up with the cubic feet storage system, like deserves some kind of like award. I'm willing to donate $20 to this person myself because the unit cap was dreadful for media sellers, but the cubic feet cap, I mean, we're talking 4,000 books per person. I could easily survive off that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be curious to see, how it pans out here in November. They haven't sent out the limits yet. I mean, they basically already said, hey, November we're probably going down in limits, but you never know. Maybe they only cut it down to 50. Even 50 is still 2,000, not 1,000 like we were screwed last year. So
Oh yeah.
it's I don't know. I'm happy with the cubic feet. I think it was definitely a smart decision, and I think the big thing was if I have 1,000 units and Eddie has 1,000 units, what if I have huge coffee table books and Eddie's got nail polishes, right?
Right.
They can't
Right.
really
Right.
figure out how much space they actually have at the warehouse. So now they say, all right, we have X amount of cubic feet. We have X amount of sellers. If we divide that up, then everybody gets X amount. And then they kind of can adjust in real time to what space they actually have. I think it was genius. I mean, I think it's a step in the right direction. Finally, they did something that actually made sense.
I'm curious if anyone thinks that they will allow us to continue sending things in and still get processed after the October 27th, 26th cutoff, because I still have some stuff I'm trying to send in. I'm thinking it might just get processed slower by a couple weeks. That's what I'm hoping.
I'll be curious. I think it really depends what they do with the limits. I mean, I'm with you. I'm gonna until the day they close the doors, like the day before they close the doors, I'm gonna make sure I'm sending out a few boxes, right? Like, the processing time I think will be based off the my processing time right now. I sent stuff out this past week. It's already delivered, and it'll probably be checked in probably by tomorrow. So I mailed stuff out Monday. It went to Jersey and it went to Pennsylvania. They're already delivered. It's just a matter of them receiving it. So my check-in times have been good. I don't know what anybody else has been dealing with, but they've been knocking stuff out pretty quick.
Fort Wayne, Indiana sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah, I just sent the shipment in the beginning of this week, and it's already getting checked in. I just got emailed that it's getting checked in already.
I had Baltimore last year. That was the worst. I mean, it took 3 months. 3 months it sat there. Baltimore Q4 last year. They did not. I don't know. I mean, it must have. I don't. It was probably one poor person working in the receiving department. But a company that size, I mean, they got to up their wages and be more proactive. I mean, at the end of the day, the amount of fees we pay, I mean, they should be paying all these people $25 an hour. I don't care what you're doing inside one of those warehouses.
Yeah, I got two. I got DFW and Memphis. I pay $3 more to go to Memphis, and it's worth it.
Victor says he thinks 100 cubic feet will be the lowest limit Amazon even in December. Well, Victor, if that's the case, I mean, I'm going to have to throw a party for every media seller out there because, I mean, that's 4 times basically what it was last year. And I've said this, publicly, like, I'm a little bit salty that I got beat up last year and a lot of the new sellers aren't going to get beat up this year. Like, I got beat up last year, right? I basically had to switch my whole business overnight. So, yeah, I'm salty about it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm glad. It's awesome that you can send stuff in. Even like Sigil was saying, who cares if it takes 3 weeks to get checked in? You're just sending it. You're just cutting it loose and forgetting about it. It gets there when it gets there. Now, if you're a new seller and you're sending stuff in, yeah, it sucks to wait a month and then it got to get checked in and transferred and sold, and it's probably 2-3 months until you get paid. But if you have some kind of sustainability, you just send it in. I think Amazon is just a send in game. I don't chase too much of my sales. I'm more worried about where's my inventory level, what's it look like in the Amazon landscape. Like I said it October, or actually I said August. In August I was telling everybody to bust their ass and fill up Amazon in case they close the door in September. Here we are in October and I'm saying the same thing. We still got to keep our, if there's any time to hustle and bustle and put a few more days and send in a few more boxes, now's the time to do it. So, I mean, we'll see what happens when the November limits come out, and if they stay the same, hey, keep your foot on the gas. There's no point in slowing down, and if December stays the same, if this is the new norm for Amazon, I think a lot of people are gonna make a lot more money regardless, because I think the restock limits kind of like put a damper on people's spirits. As cheesy as that sounds, right? Like you're like, oh man, restock limits, this sucks, you know. But if they keep everybody at 100 minimum, whew, it's gonna be glorious. What's this
Yeah,
cutoff?
you just got to figure out ways to take advantage of it, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. We had Jamie on before I started the live stream, and the dude crushes it, man. He's in the back rooms of Dollar Trees, like that's all he does. He's in the back room of a Dollar Tree flipping stuff. Like if you don't think the possibilities are out there to do something different, then just understand that there's some dude in plain clothes walking in the back room of a district of Dollar Trees seeing the stuff before it hits the floor. Like it's you gotta. I mean, the possibilities are endless out there. Got to run early, so I'll just say, go blue. Tommy Boy's Wolverines are undefeated. He loves Michigan. He does all the money he makes from reselling. He donates to U of M.
Big weekend. You know who's coming to town?
I actually haven't been keeping up
Santa
with it.
Claus?
Michigan State.
Oh, dude,
No.
we're done, dude. We got no coach, no heart. We got nothing. Might as well have me out there coaching them.
Should be fun.
All right, man. Have a good night.
See ya.
It's the day they cut off shipments. Mine all go to Fort Wayne too. Maybe you're the reason Tommy's Boy stuff's backed up. They usually put out. I think they're kind of going to wait until the last minute with November, since they said they're going to cut November's limits already. Hopefully we get it within the next week. I would like to know probably by the end of next week what they're going to do with November. I don't want it to be, we wake up November 1st and all of a sudden our limits are 25 cubic feet each, and like we're scrambling and trying to figure out like, oh my God, like, and I got to make a cheesy video about how the sky is falling and how I can't FBA stuff anymore.
Remember last year where it was like every Monday at 10 a.m. had to check to see if we could still send
dude.
stuff in or not every
Yeah.
Monday.
Dude.
Let's see, what's our week gonna be? Okay, we're good for another week.
We will.
Well, I think this year, August, like the August ones didn't show up until like a week into September, but the October ones showed up like 5 days early and at the end of September. So
I think we'll look back and we'll miss those Monday morning go in and check your restock limit days. I feel like that was, a once in a chance experience for a reseller to go in every Monday. And it was different for everybody, because I remember like Rob's was going up for a while and Rob's like riding this high tide. I'm like, damn, why does Rob have more limits than me? Our businesses were almost like copying each other at that time. We both had around like 3,000 plus inventory. And like mine's going down, and Rob's like, "Yeah, I'm over here cooking. They're leaving me alone." And then finally, I contacted the authorities, and they called on the Rob and cut him down. But it was crazy how like everybody was different with the restock.
Yeah, everybody didn't get cut off. Some people kept going. Some people had to I've been cut for 2 weeks.
it was crazy too for a while, because I remember at one point my limits were like 7,000 plus.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, there's no way in Hades I'm ever going to get 7,000 units part time doing what I'm doing.
And what was crazy is sometimes they would raise them for like a week.
Yep.
And you didn't fill it all in, you're back down to where you were or worse.
I remember, dude, I was so pissed that weekend when they cut them down. I didn't send my stuff out that weekend. I forget what it was. I think they just caught me off guard. Like I wasn't ready for it. And I had I remember I spent like $500 thrifting that weekend. Like I cleaned out Goodwills. Like I was riding high. And I remember I was so ticked off when I came and I couldn't send anything in. And I had like $500 of Goodwill merchandise just sitting here. I was just like, it sucked. I mean, I'm glad it's not happening. Deb says every Monday Mike was running to his PC to check his limits to see if he got an increase. Yeah, and it never happened. It was just a slow death for my restock limits. For a while there, I think I went up like, the 1 week I went up like 200, and I'm like, okay, all right, we're headed back the right direction. And then next week they took like 600 away.
It went worse.
like this is not good. It is. I mean, it sucks, but it was a fun time to kind of look back. And if we survive that, we can survive anything on Amazon, right? I mean, as long as you play by the rules and you don't do anything, malicious, you're good to go with Amazon, as long as you stay within their guidelines.
Yeah, I'm actually taking all next week off just to clear out the house. I mean, make sure everything humanly possible to send in is going to be in. So I'm not stuck like last year.
I'm gonna let you all in on some secret sauce here, secret talks of the business here that I shouldn't be putting out there. Um, Once they announce November limits, and if they do go down, or like they say, hey, we got 2 weeks, we got to, or you got 2 weeks to get everything sent in, anything that has a sales score of 1 plus, I am FBAing, and if it doesn't sell in 6 months, it gets liquidated. So basically, I'm looking at fully blowing out all the FBM inventory at the storage unit. If there's a 0 sales score, I'll just leave it there because I already have it listed. But anything 1 plus, I am FBA and I have this space, and if it gets liquidated, so be it. I really don't care, but that's kind of my secret plan. And if you have a lot of FBM, I think, that as long as you're fine with liquidating, right? It's not one of those things where we can talk about different businesses. I don't care if it gets liquidated after 6 months. It's all automated. I'm not worried about it. But if if you're selling something that's more expensive, then you have a little bit of a different business model. It might make sense for you not to follow in my tracks, and wherever it winds up, it winds up. But for me, get it out the unit. That's how I look at it. Deb, you need a square. Deb is she's not a member of this channel because she's too cheap to pay $2.99 a month to actually be a member of the channel here, right? It's just,
Too cheap to pay the $2.99. It's less than a cup of coffee, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, happy wife, happy life. Good luck getting $2.99 out of her. She said, "Why would I pay to talk to you?" Oh, security. But yeah, what else we got going on here? I don't know, man. My eBay, I got stuff I got to list on eBay. I'll admit, like, I'm being lazy with eBay. I have probably about 30 items I need to list, books that I comped on eBay. It's just, when things are
Just one day at listing, Mike. It's just one day.
Yeah, but dude, the trade-off is, what if I thrift that day instead of list on eBay? I lose.
But those 30 items will never sell if you don't list them.
But I'm gonna lose money if I spend my business hours listed on
You've
eBay.
already lost money with those 30 items, though.
They're probably free, dude. I don't buy stuff to sell on eBay.
Okay, then.
Hey, Johnny.
Looking at you. What's up?
Hey, Johnny, let me ask you. I know you hear about like all the problems people say they having with eBay and stuff.
Sure.
I know you're pretty detailed with your listing process, but have you experienced any issues or slower than usual year so far? Or what's going on with your store in particular?
I'm up for the year, but there have been periods where sales were not static and they were way down where they should be. I've done some experiments with promoted listings, not promoted listings, playing with prices, all kinds of things. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. I don't really believe in summer slowdown as well. Outside the general, people are outside more. Sure, that's a thing. Whatever. But no, I have noticed a difference this year compared to last year, certainly. But I'm still up for the year over last year.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that matters, right? How much money's in the bank account this year?
Right.
Was it where I would have forecasted January 1 of 2023 where I am now? No, I've been way up, but yeah, it's been okay this year. Not great.
Yeah, because I know you got a larger store on eBay, and I know some of the other larger stores, and I mean, they say they've been having some really, really bad issues. So I just wonder.
I've had issues where I've called in kind of angry, like other than to vent, the call does nothing. Poor little service agent. That kind of stuff's out of our control when eBay's messing around with their own program. Sales are naturally going to go down because things haven't been tested right, propagated issues or emerging issues, unforeseeables. I mean, that's just the nature of the game, at least on eBay. And if you have a larger store and you have an expectation of my income is at least X every month, and when it's not, yeah, people get upset. Absolutely. And they should.
Right.
I do think eBay needs to, when I kind of think about it, like, you kind of look at it, the way I see it is like a video game engine, right? They build these games inside of this engine, and eBay is still trying to run on this engine that's like 30 years past its lifespan, right? And so instead of just completely overhauling it, blowing it up, they just keep trying to like squeeze and squeeze, and it's like you can't. It's like it reminds me of CVS too. Like they keep adding stuff onto the POS system that's like absolutely terrible, right? It's like we're just going to keep adding instead of fixing it, and it gets to a point where whenever you flip a switch, something breaks. And for me, I say this all the time. If I relied solely on eBay, uh, it would be rough, and I would be pissed off because it's out of your control at the end of the day. Sure, we can all sit here and say find desirable items, right? Like we sold one of Deb's embroidery machines the other day, and we listed it, and there's only one other person. It's a desirable brand, and it had 6 watchers pretty fast, $1,000 embroidery machine. Um, it is easy to say find desirable items, but that's not the case, and especially with a lot of new resellers, everybody jumps into selling the same stuff, and it's just like you're jumping in to like quicksand. You're going to get sunk real quick. It might seem glorious that everybody's selling vintage tees, or media's everywhere and you can get it for cheap, but it is such an uphill battle getting into some of these categories. That's why I tell everybody, think outside the box, do something different. What are you doing differently to be open to flipping a hospital bed, right? Like, I mean, listen, there's so much money in different things. We kind of get just consumed, like, I got to sell this or this. I got to do used clothing, or I got to do media, or I got to do, this or that, or shoes, or vintage tees. Like, find something that interests you and do something different. Like, Johnny's the perfect example of this. All that garbage he's got back on his shelf, we would literally throw it in a dumpster. And he sells it for 13 bucks a piece plus shipping, because he does his listings in a way nobody else even can compete with him on eBay. So it's like, oh well, snooze you lose. And that's literally what differentiates him, and that's why he can sell that stuff for 17 bucks. And we're all like, there's no way.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mike, got a question for you. Are you still putting together boxes for Max?
Yes, I actually I sent him a box probably 2 weeks ago. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to ask, how do you? I guess I've sent him a few pictures and stuff, and some have been from auctions. I'm trying to see if I can win or not. But I guess what I've been trying to figure out in my head was, okay, at what price? I mean, like when you send a picture to him, he says, yay or nay, but you don't know what price he's going to sell it at, or okay, I mean, are you only doing it for like items you find in a thrift store, or are you like paying up for some stuff to try to send?
No, I literally, all the stuff I sent to Max is either from the thrift store or the free pickup. So like if it's anything that's antique, I'll send him photos of, or if it's anything that's like weird, kind of like, I got 2 books from Max right now. Actually, I'll show you what I got. I have anything that's signed. I got this Tyler Perry book. It's signed. He said he wanted this, so this was something I got at the thrift store. Anything that's signed, I always send him a photo of it. And then I got this, I got like this Swedish Harry Potter book. So it's Harry Potter, but it's in Swedish. And he wanted this as well. I have no idea what he's going to sell for. I don't ask him. I just send it to him.
Yeah, I know you got pay for shipping to get it to him, and I guess I was just trying to run the numbers in my head and trying to figure out, okay, at what point.
The first box I sent him, well, it was 2 boxes, because the one book was so big it wouldn't even fit in a 16 by 12 by 12 box. It was right around $900 listed. So if I split it with them, it would be like probably around $450 for me, and I really don't have to do anything with it. So it was like some book sets, some signed stuff, the little Clue trade paperback that's like $250. Just weird stuff. And listen, this is supposed to be Mac's call, but he has another call. I didn't kind of work out with him too good this month, but next month he'll be back. You're going to get a lot more no's than yeses. I mean, I've had days where I've sent him like 100 pictures and everyone's a no. And I'm like, dude, you even looking at these photos? But he does. But he's particular about what he wants. And everything he took from me is listed for over 20 bucks. So he's not I don't think he'll take much that's under $20, because it just doesn't make sense for him. So that's kind of like I guess a price point kind of in my mind is like, anything he's going to want is going to be at least $20 that he's going to sell it for. So I'll make, probably $8 after fees, because he charges for shipping too. So.
Gotcha. Thank you.
What's up, David? Hopped in here late.
Busy.
Busy? What are you doing?
I've gone through about 14,000 CDs this month, so
You sound
busy.
like Sigil 8 months ago. What Sigil? Wasn't it 14,000 CDs they advertised?
Yeah, I think it was closer to 20.
Cover scans, dude. You better be cover scanning, David, or we're going to have a little talk.
It's amazing the different sources and the different results. I got 6 pallets of bulk CD. That was fine. I did okay. I just picked up yesterday about 10,000 CDs from somebody that used to sell at a flea market, and I've gotten about an 8% hit rate on it so far, which is awesome. So I'll get more from this. I'll get twice as much from this as I did from the giant bulk deal.
I recorded a video specifically around CDs last week, and my accept rate at the thrift store, I scanned over 500 CDs. I'm kind of giving away the video, but I don't care. My accept rate was 2%.
Yeah.
It was brutal. And I'm like 4 of the 8 shelves in. I'm like, damn, why did I decide to do this video today? Like, this is really how it's going to be, 2% accept rate. But like we were talking about earlier, there was a lot of accepts that were rejects in Scoutly. So it was higher than that, but what are you going to do? Anything else before we roll out of here? Nothing at all. All right, well, listen, I appreciate everybody hanging out over in the YouTube world. We got a bunch of, another little precursor, we got a bunch of guests coming up on the podcast. Eddie's actually going to be one of them here, He popping his head in here to kind of get a little bit about his business. He also does YouTube. He's got a real good YouTube channel. That's why we're having him on the podcast. I'm talking about the guy sitting right here, but I don't care, all right? Hustle and Grow. Check him out on YouTube. Real down-to-earth videos. Kind of tells it how it is. That's kind of what I like about him, right? He's like, this is what you need to do. You can't just rely on eBay. He sells on Walmart, Amazon, eBay. Anywhere he can sell something, he's going to sell something. So, yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Johnny just comes back. Johnny, I'll buy all your eBay stuff for $1.
$1 each?
No,
You got 10 grand? $10,603?
No. Come on, dude.
I'll make that deal right now. I got more inventory I could list.
You're the guy that says you should take any offer you get because $1 is more than what you got today.
Yeah, I'll do $1 each. Yeah, we'll do that.
Would you really sell your whole store for $1 each?
No.
Come on, then. If somebody 10K cash, somebody walks in and says, "Give me all your eBay inventory," you're saying no.
No, if somebody wanted to do a store, like buy out my store, and that does happen, some people ask other eBay sellers to buy out their inventory, it would be a assessment based off a percentage of the current store value's worth, is how that's traditionally done, just for people who may get approached at some point down the road.
Hopefully somebody approaches me.
I mean, I'll buy out your 10 eBay items.
$1 a piece, you could have them, dude. I ain't even thinking twice. I'm taking my money and I'm running.
Oh, man.
I got a death pile. I could easily have the same amount of listings if I wanted to. It'd only take a week.
Oh, man. What did I sell?
All right, we're going to roll out of here. Last few chatters here over in YouTube. Timmy Penny. Deb, make sure he takes care of you getting your tacos. I'm going to overcook the shit out of her tacos, right? The shells are going to be burnt black. The beans are going to be so mushy. And she's going to have to blame you, buddy, so I appreciate it. Duncan says this was neat. Yeah, we'll probably start broadcasting one of these a month and kind of copy Daily Refinement over there, how he puts up one of his Zoom calls every single week. Just subscribe to Eddie. I'll check the channel out. Hey, Eddie appreciates it. Eddie, Josh, Graff.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Josh also has a YouTube channel as well. He sells primarily on eBay, and he lives in his storage unit packing all of his stuff. So, all right, everybody, we appreciate you hanging out. Man. Everybody have a good night. Go Phillies.